Hey, it's Matt from Custom Car Grills with a mesh install for the 2015 and newer Cadillac ATS. Right from the start, I want to mention that this mod is not going to be compatible with the adaptive cruise sensor called Super Cruise that may be equipped from the factory on some higher end models. Okay, now after the grill is removed from the bumper, let's get this started by flipping the grill around to work on the back of it. On the upper edge, there's going to be 6 Torx screws that need to be removed. I'll hold onto these and I'll reuse them later when the grill's being reassembled. Next, I'll grab a flathead screwdriver to release the chrome bezel from the black portion of the grill. In this case, I found it easiest to try and pull the chrome bezel out while loosening the connector side on the black part of the grill. After these have been released, then the chrome bezel will be removed and the other part of the grill can be set off to the side for a moment. There's a little bit of work left to do on the back of the bezel. Some small little tabs are on the back edge right here. I'm going to need to cut or sand these down because they'll interfere with getting the mesh flush up against the back of it. To get the job done, I'll get out my Dremel and equip it with the number 543 cutting and shaping wheel. This attachment will cut right through the tabs in no time, and the top of the wheel can be used to shave the edge down flat and even. While I have the Dremel out, let's go ahead and knock out the center of this main grill area too. It's important to note where the cut is being made. I'll be cutting through the center of the edge where the bezel snaps back in for the left, right, and lower edges. Don't cut any further outward than the bezel fasteners, and make sure to not mistakenly cut the bumper tab area instead of the bezel tab area, otherwise this project will be ruined. The upper edge is a little different, and I'm just cutting that about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 inch back from where the stock depth is. There's no need to rush this step, just keep a good steady hand and make sure the cuts are accurate. Once I've made a pass all the way around, then the center part should lift out with ease and can be set off to the side. There's going to be some burnt on plastic bits from cutting, and those can usually be picked off by hand, like so. If there's some that are being super stubborn, then it might take another quick pass with the shaping wheel to knock them loose. This next part is about swapping the bezel from chrome to black. If that's of no interest, then skip ahead to the next chapter of this video. To get the paint to stick to something like this, the chrome needs to be scuffed up at a minimum or ideally stripped off altogether. A bare minimum scuffing can be done with something like a red Scotch-Brite pad like this one that I'm using. To get a deeper etch in the chrome, something like a dual action sander and 180 grit paper would be a good way to go. I made a couple passes with my sander and thoroughly checked to make sure that I got it in every little area I could. Here's how mine looks right before taking it to get primed and painted at a local paint shop. And this is how it turned out. Wow, this bezel looks super slick. It's a rich, deep looking black, and the clear coat really has a ton of shine to it. This looks OEM fresh, and I'm ready to finish up this project. Let's go ahead and snap it back together with the other part of the grill. It's important to get this lined up right. We want to ensure that the grill keeps the factory shape, or else there may be complications when reinstalling this piece. While I did cut through the center of the front edge where the tabs go, there should still be enough of the fastener opening left to get a click when the two parts meet up. Now will be a good time to reinstall the Torx fasteners that were removed in one of the first steps. With the grill reassembled, I'm now ready for the mesh install. And speaking of the mesh, here's what we have for sale on our website. This mesh piece is pre-cut and pre-formed specifically for the 2015 and newer Cadillac ATS. All the right cuts and bends have been made in all the right spots. And this has a durable powder-coated finish that's done in gloss black. With the stock grill gutted out properly, the mesh piece should rest right on the back of the grill like so. To temporarily hold the mesh and grill together, I'll grab some cable ties and foam. The ties will help keep the mesh tight in position, while the foam will help protect the surface of the finish of the grill from the ties. Wrapping the ties on is fairly easy. The tail ends loop around the grill and through the bumper tab hole, and through the mesh, and then the head of the tie should fasten on while resting on the back of the mesh. I just need to get the mesh to hold up tight against the back edge of the grill. There's no need to over-tighten the ties, because that might distort the shape of the grill or damage the finish on the painted areas. Getting just the right tension can be tricky. And be sure to check the positioning of the head of the ties on each side before fully tightening them down. Once the ties are in place and I'm satisfied with the fit of the mesh, I'll cut the tail ends of the ties off and throw them away. Here's how mine looks from the front. There doesn't seem to be any gaps and the mesh is centered up pretty good, so I think we're good to go here with attaching everything together. To bond the mesh and grill frame together, I like to use PlyoGrip Plastic Repair number 3, though other panel bond type adhesives could be used in its place. Apply it through and around the mesh, making sure to get full coverage, but also making sure to not spill any through the front. Multiple angles of approach might be needed to get the dispensing tube in all the right spots. Once there's a good amount laid out, then I like to grab a small brush and even out the adhesive to ensure good coverage. Just keep working around the perimeter of the grill until the whole piece is bonded. It's important to work fairly quickly in this step because the adhesive does cure quickly. The PlyoGrip that I'm using can fully cure in about 30 minutes, but it hardens up to a point where it's not easy to manipulate after about 5 minutes. Once this is fully cured, then I'll grab the wire cutters and again snip off the ties and throw them away along with the protective foam. This mesh install is complete. Let's flip it around and see how it turned out. Whoa, this looks awesome! The all-black grill is a complete transformation from what we started with, but it doesn't need to stop here, and if we want to take it up a notch, then let's go ahead and continue on. I know owners like these blacked out emblems, so let's add one of these to the project. The first thing to do is to trim off the stock mounting tabs. The Dremel, along with the cutting and shaping wheel, will make short work of prepping this for install. Next, let's get this centered up. The stock emblem is up a little higher than center, so I'll try and get this in a position that makes sense. A piece of tape or two on the top and bottom will make for a good reminder of where to place it. Afterward, I'll get the PlyoGrip back out and apply some to the back of the emblem. Using a brush to even it out will be useful too. And shortly thereafter, I'll flip it around and stick it to the mesh. It's important at this point to make sure that the grill is horizontally level, because I don't want the emblem to move while the adhesive cures. In my case, I propped the front of the grill on a box to make it level. And once this is hardened up, then I'll remove the box and flip the grill back around to apply some of the adhesive through the back of the mesh. This will help ensure that this is not going to ever pop off. Then I'll wait one final time for this to cure and come back to inspect the final results. Here we have the fully completed grill. I have to say that this looks absolutely stunning compared to the stock grill with chrome accents. This looks much more modern in my opinion, and the blacked out look is much sleeker. Here's a few pictures of how this grill that was made in this video looks installed on an ATS. It's a total game changer, right? There's nothing else like it out there, and I absolutely love how this looks. Well, that's all I have for this video. I hope you liked it, and if you have any questions about this video or any of my others, then feel free to contact me, and thanks for watching.